Welcome to the Sharkpreneur Podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Green. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Green is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com. Welcome to the Sharkpreneur Podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Green. Today, I've got the good fortune to be welcoming back a repeat guest, Jason Wong, who I believe was episode 818 a number of years ago, who's back to talk to us about what he's up to now at Paking Duck. Jason, thank you so much for coming back.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
It is our pleasure. So for those of folks who haven't heard episode 818, give us a refresher, short version of your story, kind of how it got to where you are, and then we'll talk about what you're up to now.
100%. So back when you interviewed me back in 2022, I was running an e-commerce business, selling eyelashes online, selling beauty products online. And that business was great. I did that business for 8 years, and now I've moved on to running a manufacturing business. So I bought out the supplier that was supplying me at my beauty company for packaging. And now I run a packaging company called Paking Duck. We manufacture custom packaging for all sorts of brands, from shopping bags to shampoo bottles to, the boxes that your eyeglasses came in. We do it all.
Awesome. That is absolutely incredible. I love the kind of going up the supply chain, vertical integration type of thing. Let's talk about who's an ideal client for you?
I mean, really, anyone that needs packaging will be any consumer brand. So, I mean, the reason why I picked this industry is because I had a revelation that, when I was selling products, a beauty product, I had a very limited amount of people that could be my ideal customers. And that number actually changes every single year. As people mature, they change their taste. But packaging is one of those things that every single consumer brand on the market needs. It doesn't matter if you're selling a toothbrush to a washing machine or a TV, you all need packaging for it. And so I realized that the opportunity here was a lot bigger. So it's really anyone that sells products online.
That's awesome. Now, theoretically, I'll play devil's advocate for a minute, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I am assuming that you're probably not dealing with people who starting their business for the very first time, first product. They're probably already existing. So do they have packaging already when they come to you?
A lot of our customers do, but we certainly do work with a lot of brands who are just starting out. They have an idea. They're like, hey, Jason, I have this idea to start this brand and I can only order 2,000 boxes. That's perfectly fine with us. We just can't take on anyone who's ordering 5 boxes or 10 boxes because, truthfully, we don't make any money on that.
Understood. And what is their biggest challenge?
I think the biggest challenge right now is that a lot of people who are manufacturing packaging or getting packaging for their products are actually not going to the factories directly. That's number one. So we own the factory. We work directly with the customers to make the products. A lot of brands actually get their packaging from whoever's their main supplier for the product. So for example, if I was selling eyeglasses, typically I'll go to the person who's making my eyeglasses to make the packaging. It's natural that they would know who's best, right? But most of the time, those type of suppliers are charging more than 40-50% on the packaging that they source for you because they're not making it in-house. And so number one is that we are very, very competitive on rates because we're the factory direct. Number two is that a lot of people don't understand that packaging actually has a huge impact on marketing. right? Right now, a lot of people's traffic and conversions coming through social media, through short form videos, Reels, YouTube Shorts, and whatnot. And so you only have such a small window to capture someone's attention. And what I see a lot of brands do is focusing on unboxing experience that really keep people's attention, as well as making them stop scrolling. That's really, really key part.
That is awesome. I love the idea of using packaging as part of your marketing. How are you getting the word out? How are people finding you?
So we've been in business for about 3 years now. We have never spent a single dollar on paid marketing. Every single one of our clients have either came in through referrals or they have came in through watching my videos. So I made maybe one or two videos every single day for the last 2 years about packaging. And for the most part, packaging videos are boring, right? Like no one cares about how things are manufactured. But I found that there's actually a way to make manufacturing or boring videos interesting. So I would do breakdowns on how does Rolex make their green boxes? How much does it cost to make the Apple iPhone box that everyone loves and stores in their bedroom? I will break down how brands are using packaging as a marketing lever. And those type of videos are getting tens of millions of views across our social media platform, which in turn brings in traffic for us.
Absolutely, that makes a lot of sense. Now, how do you, there are obviously other companies that provide packaging services. How do you differentiate yourself?
100%. So there's a few ways. And the key thing about our business is that we have to do every single one of these points exceptionally well in order to stand out. Number one is, of course, pricing, right? In the e-commerce industry, margins are everything. It's already a low margin business. Packaging has to be a place where people can find the most cost efficient ways to present their product, but also store their product. So number one is pricing. Because we do everything within the supply chain except for chopping down a tree and turning it into pulp, we make everything in-house. That allows us to give the best pricing to our customers. Number two is the attention to detail. We understand how important packaging is for transporting, for storing, and also for presenting your product. We pay attention to things that customers typically might not pay attention to. And the way that we're able to do this is because every single person on our team, or at least our senior and exec team, are ex Shopify operators. We have all ran our own brands. We have done our own research. We've done developments for the last decades or so. And so we're able to see things from a different lens than most manufacturers who are, most manufacturers have never done e-commerce themselves. Everyone in our company have built our own brand, either exited, sold it, or whatever, and then came into this business. So that's number two. Number three is that we're able to consolidate a lot of different functions under one single roof. We do design, we have our own design program, we do the manufacturing, but we also have our own shipping company. So from the concept of having a packaging all the way to shipping it to your front door, we handle it under one roof. And by doing that, we're able to get way better rates for our customers, but also consolidate the vendor relationship. So imagine talking to one single person instead of talking to four different people for the same shipment, right? How much time does that save for you? How much money does that save for you, right?
I would imagine it saves a ton of time and money, which is part of your value add. You've worked with so many companies now. Can you give us an example of one, what they were kind of struggling with or what their challenge was when they came to you, kind of how you were able to help them, and then kind of what it looked like on the other side?
For sure. So a few brands that comes to mind would be a brand called Array. Array is a supplement company. They do about nine figures in revenue every single year. When they came to us, their packaging was not in the best shape, right? They were again going through the same model where I mentioned they were going through their main supplier that was making their supplements to also do their box. And so because of that, they're not able to pay attention to the small details. Where we were able to improve their packaging by increasing the weight of the paper. So it's a little bit sturdier, right? You ever felt a box is a little flimsy? That's something you get from Amazon versus a box you get from a nice place. We transform from A to B while cutting their cost down by 20%, right? We were able to improve it in quality and decreasing in rate. And that's really my main goal is that every single customer that comes through a door, if we're able to achieve that same effect for you, that's what I feel like success is.
That is absolutely incredible. Love that. So, you help so many people. What's the biggest challenge you're facing now?
I think every single level of the business growth unlocks a different set of challenges, right? It's just stating the obvious, but what I didn't realize was just how often those challenges would come and how severe they would be, right? Like at first it was like, okay, we don't really have a good system in place. Now we have a great system. Now the system is so efficient that there's way too much things for our human staff to do. Now we hire the human staff to handle the demand. Now there's too many people in the kitchen. How do we compartmentalize the right team for the right functions? And then it's about hiring the best people, right? Like at a certain point of your business, it's about hiring the best people, best operators for each team. And it's been a quite a challenge to find A players consistently. And sometimes people interview very well, but in actuality, they might not perform the best. And so I think our biggest bottleneck right now is hiring the best people for our team. We never really had challenges with getting the right amount of customers. We've always had a lot of customers from day one. Fortunately, because of our background in e-commerce, I just called up 50 of my friends who are in the space and said, hey, can I do packaging for you? So we never had a demand problem. We've always had a supply problem, which is we just couldn't keep up with the demand.
That is a wonderful problem to have. You solve the most important one first. So tell me a little bit about, I mean, your passion's obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
I love being able to have a huge impact on every single one of our customers, whether that is a new product that they're launching, whether that is them getting into Target or Walmart and seeing the work that we do on retail shelf is extremely, extremely fun for us. It's also, I think just being able to make an impact on our customers at a larger scale, right? Like when I mentioned how much money people save with us, for a nine-figure brand, we're talking about 6 to 7 figures in savings that we're able to cut for them over the next few years just by fixing their packaging, right? Well, no one's gonna hate you for putting an extra $1 million in their pocket. And so being able to do that consistently over and over again has been very, very impactful.
I bet. Well, you got an incredible journey, incredible story. Love the evolution. For who's an ideal client for you?
We love clients that are either in retail or getting into retail, particularly because the volume is there. We love being able to leverage the volume to get the best rates for them, but also for us, we're in a volume game, right? In manufacturing, we're making, 2 pennies here, 3 pennies there. The most ideal customers are anyone that can bring volume to us.
Awesome. Well, we greatly appreciate it. Your time is incredibly valuable. Thank you for spending some of it with us. For our folks watching or listening who might be interested, where is the best place for them to go?
Our Instagram is Duck, Duck, and our website is Paking Duck. That's PAKINGDUCK.com. Both of those places will find our work and also how to find us and submit an inquiry.
Awesome. This has been Seth Green with Jason Wong. Jason, thanks again for joining us.
Sounds good.
Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.